Hey guys, welcome to another video, and today we are going to be talking about the visa interview process for the US, the F-1 visa process in 2020, 2021 already, because now it's almost December. Actually, it is December, so first week is already gone, so only 3 weeks left to the end of this disastrous year that's called 2020. And a lot of things are going to be different in the visa interview when you actually go ahead and attend it this year, because some of you may not have taken the GRE at all. Some of you, could not take the test due to the due to the COVID, right? And there's other things going on all the time, and this year the interviews are definitely going to be different because the slots are also very limited. I know personally, I've seen that a lot of people are trying to get them 2 or 3 weeks later. That's when first time they get a slot. So yes, it can be time taking, it can be hectic, but don't worry, everything will be covered in this video. What documents should you take? What should you dress like? Really, what kind of answers should you have? Okay, so we're gonna go over that quickly in this video. So let's begin. So the first thing, guys, all of you guys should already know this, but still, for those of you who don't know, the visa interview process, the F-1 visa process, is actually a two-step process. Okay, number one is your biometrics process, where you have to go ahead and you have to give your biometrics, that basically your fingerprint, and number two is the actual visa interview, which happens at the consulate. Okay, so number one, it's the biometrics. What happens? By the way, these two are usually separated in a gap of 2 or 3 days, 4 or 5 days, depending on when you book them. Again, you are responsible for booking both of these dates, so it's completely up to you. But usually I would say, don't make it, any farther than 2 or 3 days, 4 days at max. That's more than enough in most cases, okay? You don't really need to do some sort of preparation for any visa interview, by the way. Okay, so number one, you go for the biometrics process. It's really, no one will be asking you any questions on this day. No one will be asking you why this university. No one will be asking you, how you're going to prove your finances. It's not worth it. Don't be prepared for all of these questions for this interview, because they're just going to take your fingerprint. All you need to do, take your DS-160 with you. Remember, your DS-160 document is important. Next, your appointment confirmation. That should be with you, that yes, I have booked an appointment for so and so date, and on the same date you should reach. Okay, and reach 30 minutes early, and also of course carry your passport. So these three things, okay, DS-160, appointment confirmation, and your passport should be with you on the day of the biometrics. Okay, you go in, they'll sanitize your hands and all, and they'll just basically ask you to put your fingers on there, on the fingerprint sensor, and that's it. That's really it. You don't have to do more than that. Okay, yeah, I know there are a few things. Maybe they'll make you read a few lines, or basically just read a short essay or something. That's okay. That's not important. I think you can handle all of that on your own. But the important thing is, understand that it's a simple process. Biometrics is really, just have to give your fingerprints. That's all. Next comes the important day, the doomsday, you can say, when you actually go to the embassy or the consulate to actually appear for your visa interview. And this is the process people are scared about the most. They're not really sure what's going on, they mess up, and I know a lot of people, they get rejected because they're not confident. Guys, confidence is key over here. Number one thing you should remember, confidence is key. Now, the number one thing you should remember is that there are 15-minute slots. So some person may have a time of 7:30 in the morning, the other person may have a time of 7:45 in the morning. Each of these slots, there will be separate lines. When you actually reach at the consulate, near the consulate, there will be probably some footpaths, depending on where you go. They will basically create separate lines. And due to COVID-19, earlier it used to be different, people would be basically very closer together. But right now, due to COVID-19, those lines are going to be awfully long, because they're basically taking some precautions. There's a 6 feet gap maintained between every two people. So that's important to note, guys. Don't be scared of the line, but at the same time, be sure to join the right kind of line. Your time slot, just find the line for that and join in. If you don't know where to join, just go ahead, ask someone over there. There are a lot of representatives who will be very happy to help you, whose job it is to redirect you to the right kind of line. Okay, don't be scared. Nothing to be nervous right now. You're just standing in the line. You're just at the end of the line, you're just standing. You just came in. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Don't have to be afraid of anything. Okay, people will start going in slowly and slowly. Okay, and the one thing I want to tell you is reach 10-15 minutes early for the very least. And the second thing is that you should have a few documents. Now these documents, I'm just going to name them right now, And I want you to make a note of these, make a note of these, because these are important documents, guys, and you need these on the day of the interview. You don't need any last minute blunders, so make sure to note these. Number one, of course, your passport. Very important document. I think the most important on this list. It's the number one thing. Second thing, your DS-160. It's very important again, guys. Same DS-160 that you took with you on the day of the biometrics. Keep that in your hands. Okay, again, maintain these all in a file. Okay, the next thing, service fee receipt. You paid a service fee, you need to have that receipt with you. It is important, it will be checked for, and they definitely need it. Okay, at times I've seen that they don't check for it, they don't look for it, but still I would say keep it in your hands, keep it in the file, it's important. The next thing is your I-20, most important document. Again, after the passport, this is the most important thing. I-20 is required because it has all the information, which university you're going to, when do you start, when does your course end, is it a STEM program, what happens when, what kind of a duration does the course have. So all these things are already listed on the I-20, and you actually need to have that with you. It's a very important document, guys. Okay, the next thing, appointment confirmation. Yes, you have booked an appointment for today, and that's why you're appearing for the interview. And the final thing that you may not always need this, but I would say definitely keep this in your hands. It's an important thing, financial proof. Okay, you need to have proof of finances. You need to know that, all right, this is the amount shown on the I-20 for the first year, and you need to have about 1.2 to 1.5 times that amount. Remember, this should be in liquid funds. It cannot be in the form of bond stocks or something that even though they are liquid, it's generally preferred you should have it either in the form of a bank balance, your fixed deposits. There are other ways to do that as well, but taking documents such as property, the value of your property, valuation of your property, all of that, that's not really very liquid, so don't try to do that. Keep it simple, keep it liquid as much as possible. Okay, and apart from that, I think you're good to go. All of these documents should be in your hand, in the file. And again, be confident. You don't need to worry about anything. You're gonna get your visa interview. You're gonna get your visa today. Okay. The next thing, reach early and dress well. You need to dress well, but at the same time, remember, you do not need to wear formals. It's okay to wear semi-formals, or maybe just like this t-shirt. It will work perfectly well for the interview. I would definitely 100%, 9 days out of 10, I would wear this t-shirt on the visa interview. You don't need anything more than this. Okay, and apart from that, you can wear pants or jeans or anything, anything casual works. You do not have to be in a suit. I know people who were, dressed very uncomfortably on the actual day of the visa interview when I went in. Doesn't help you. Does not, because you will be frisked and everything. There will be things that you have to take off. Don't wear a belt, by the way. If possible, don't wear a belt, because they're going to make you take it off, and so all of these things happen. But apart from that, it's simple. Keep it simple, man. Don't keep adding on unnecessary things. It's not important. Okay, the next thing, again, I am reminding you again, guys, third time I'm reminding you, be confident. It's important to have confidence. I know I've said this a lot, but if you lose your confidence in front of the interviewer, you're gonna face some real issues over there. All right, there's a line. Remember, you're in that line, 6 feet difference. Remember, line moves on. You keep following that. Okay. If you're wearing a belt, they'll ask you to remove it. They'll basically check everything and they'll give it back to you. You put it back on. You go ahead in a room, probably 40 or 50 chairs over there in a room, just like a normal classroom, and all of you guys sit down. You go ahead, try to sit down near the door, near the place where they start calling people from. If not, it's all right. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead, sit down. Okay. You sit down at one of these seats, and row by row, one by one, an officer will tell you that, all right, you guys can go in now. Let's say you're in that row. You start going in. You start moving in towards the embassy, inside of the embassy now. Okay, and now all you have to do is you have to keep your documents in your hand. Your passport should be in your hand. First, they'll check your passport. They'll make sure you're the same person, and they'll make sure that you have your your biometrics are done. They'll basically verify your biometrics. You have to place your finger again, and they'll check. All right, this is the same person who appeared for the biometrics. Great, done, dusted. You move on. You move on, and you start seeing there's basically a long list of counters. 10 counters or 12 counters. Counter is basically just where the visa officer is sitting. So 10 or 12 visa officers over there, and all of these counters are essentially occupied. People will already be interviewing, unless you're the first, of course. Okay, so every single counter there will be a student who's interviewing, or someone else, doesn't have to be a student, of course, because other visa types are also being processed over there, but someone over there that's basically interviewing someone else. Both of these people are just separated by a glass wall. The wall has some sort of a mechanism that you can interact. Your voices can reach each other, but that's about it. All right, I'm keeping it simple, guys. It's a simple mechanism. I'm trying to be as visual as possible so you can visualize it in your mind, and when you actually go over there, you should have a pretty good idea of it. Okay, so hopefully this is doing well. All right, stick with me. Okay, so now you're actually in that final line where you have to basically stand in front of the counter. You basically stand and join one of the lines of the counters. One by one, you will start going in. One by one, you will start going in, and an officer will redirect you that, all right, go to this counter or go to that counter. And you go ahead and you stand at the back of it. When the student in front of you is done with the interview, you will move forward. You move towards the counter. And the next thing you do is you say, good morning, officer. How are you doing today? Important, all right? So you do that. And the officer will ask you, he'll say, I'm good. Please pass me your visa. Sorry, you're not your visa, of course. You're yet to get that. But please pass me your passport. Give them your passport. Give them your I-20. Okay? And then it starts. That's the visa interview. Remember, it's gonna last, optimally, it's gonna last 1 to 2 minutes, not more than that. I've seen interviews finish off within 1 minute as well. I've seen them last 5 minutes as well. It can happen, different people, different experiences. I've talked to a lot of people. It happens depending on your situation, but on an average, should not cross 2 minutes. Okay? 2 minutes are important, guys. You need to be focused, you need to be confident. You're dressed well, don't worry about anything. They'll take a look at your university. They'll ask you, why this university? You're going to tell them that, hey, I personally like the research at this university and I like Professor XYZ. In fact, 2 months back, I connected with Professor XYZ and I sent him my resume, and he is very interested in working with me as a part of his research group as well. So I am genuinely 100% interested in this university. I want to consider, the cutting edge research that Professor XYZ is doing, and I want to work with him. That's why I'm going for this program. Remember, no one can separate a professor from a university. It's almost as if, you want to go to that university for a professor. You cannot, otherwise people say vague things that, the location is good, there are plenty of job opportunities. Stay away from all of that. Don't do that. You're killing yourself over there. Okay, so just mention that, a professor at this university, that's why I'm going. Keep it simple, keep it short. I'm not giving you any alternatives because I know this will work. It worked in my case, it worked in a lot of clients that I've worked with. Okay, all of their cases, it worked. So you can be rest assured, the information that I'm giving you is tried, it's tested, you don't need to worry about anything. Okay, the next thing, they'll ask you, okay, that's great. How many other universities you applied to? You're going to say, hey, I applied to 8 universities. Be honest with them. Don't give them a small number as well. Don't give them a very large number as well. Be honest. Don't need to lie. Unless you have applied to 20, 25 universities. In that case, I would definitely say, lie, mention 10 or something. But otherwise, 7 to 12 universities, that's pretty typical. That's very average. I applied to 10 universities, officer. And one of them was University X that I really like, that I'm going for. Alright, the officer will ask you, how many admits did you get, man? How many rejects, how many admits? Mention your admits, mention your rejects, if possible. I mean, if the number is large though, if it's 10 universities that you applied to, of course, you cannot list them down, but just try your best, give them 3 or 4 names. I also got admits from X, Y, Z, whatever. But I still chose University X because, of the reason I mentioned earlier. Great. Up till now, it's great. Alright, how do you prefer to, how will you be financing your degree? Okay, now comes the big question. How will you finance it? The officer asks you. You tell them, okay? Now, it's important, guys. This part of the process, I don't think I can explain during the video because it's different for everyone. But, remember a few tips. If you have some savings, number 1, mention, I have savings of this amount. I have, in the form of bank balance, in the form of funds. My sponsors will be my father and my mother. Whatever, they also have savings of so and so. If that's covering more than the first year amount, that's good enough. You don't need to say anymore. But still, just to be really, really sure, you can say, I also have a student loan of XYZ amount that I will be using up during my time at the university. Remember, not only do you have to cover the tuition expenses, but you also have to cover the living expenses. So please keep that in mind. Whatever total whatever sum you're giving them, it should cover both of these for more than 1 year. Okay. Still, if you need more, again, like I said, it can be different for different people. What you can do is you can work directly with me. I can help you in this process. I can help you in the financial documentation. I can help you with the mock interviews. We can do that one-on-one on Skype or on Zoom nowadays, of course. Now that the technologies are changing, it's very well possible to do that. Okay, we have a service. I'm gonna link it at the bottom. In fact, in the video description, you can go ahead, you can check out the visa interview financial documentation service. It's not very costly either as compared to the fees you're gonna be paying for the visa process. But at the same time, you'll get to work directly with me. Okay. Sorry, I just got carried away. Anyway, so you get all of this done, right? And the officer says, okay, that's good enough. In most cases, that will be the interview. You will not need more than that. Still, there can be some cases that, officers will ask you about, hey, what are your plans, after this program? You're going to give them a simple plan, okay? Guys, again, tried and tested. You're going to tell them, I have, or, particularly I'm interested in, either research or in working for this company. You can say that I currently already have an offer from this company in India, or in whichever country you are in, of course, right? And at the same time, I have connected with my manager. Now, if you're already working, you can say this. I've connected with my manager, and he said that if I'm able to complete this degree, I will be, bumped up to position XYZ. I will become maybe the R&D consultant at the company or something like that. So remember, you can show strong ties to your company. Other ways to show strong ties, if you are a student. Again, like I said, I cannot get into the details very much over here, but when you're working directly with me, I can look at your case and tell you how to make strong ties. Again, other ways to make strong ties, let's say you have people who are dependent on you over here. Let's say in your country, people are dependent on you. Let's say it's your family member. So you can say that, hey, I'm gonna be going over there completing my degree, but in the end, I actually have my father who is dependent on me heavily. There are medical expenses, there are issues that he needs help with that I have to take care of. So at present, I've kept a caretaker for him, but eventually I want to come back over here and I want to assist him in his, in his retirement. So all of these things can work. There's a lot of things you can say, guys. There's a lot of things you can say, but remember, it has to be strong ties to your company. Sorry, to your country. You can't just say anything, you can't just say that, hey, I want to work for Google. That doesn't bode well for you because, to be honest, Google's offices are mostly in the US, and that doesn't show that, you're going to be coming back. Anyway, so this is the interview for you guys. There can be other questions. I just covered the most important 4 or 5 questions over here. I gave you the brief overview of the interview. I'm trying to be as visual as possible. The officer will say, hey, good enough, Mr. whatever your name is, and then he'll give you a blue slip saying, hey, you're done. You can collect your passport later on, or what he'll say is, if your passport is gone for premium processing, your passport will reach your house within 2 or 3 days, and that's probably it. You get your visa just like that. And guys, congratulations, you just got your visa. So thank you so much for watching. I'm hoping that this helps you. Again, if you need my help directly one-on-one, I can work with you. But this is the general overview of the process. Of course, there's a lot more involved. There's the DS-160 that you have to fill. There's online forms on the visa website that you have to fill. Make no mistake, if you make issues on that form, you report the wrong sort of things over there, things can go for a toss. So please, all of the part of the process is important, but I know this is the most important part which you guys are scared of because it's the interview. So yeah, I just thought, I'll make a video. I'll make sure that you guys are not scared of it. This is especially during the times of COVID-19 when, special considerations are being taken. You're not sure how the interview will go. If, you haven't taken the GRE, by the way, the officer may ask, why haven't you taken the GRE? You can simply tell them that, one of the people at my place were affected with COVID. And it was really difficult for me to go out. In fact, you can also name yourself that I was infected. No one's going to ask you for proof. But, I couldn't really go out for the test, and I did not feel comfortable taking the test at my home as well. I was not feeling well due to COVID, whatever. It's as simple as that. You don't have to explain more than that. They will be sympathizing with you. Okay, so hopefully this video helps you. Thank you so much for watching. For more genuine content, do consider subscribing to the channel. I make a lot of effort making these videos for you every day. A lot of people do that, and thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a good day. Bye. Take care.